So the three gunas, Sattva gun, Rajogun and Tamogun, they are the expressions of Prakriti, and Prakriti is different from Purusha. Purusha is consciousness and Prakriti is all matter. But the combination of Purusha and Prakriti makes everything happen. Prakriti by itself will not be able to function without the blessings of Purusha. And Purusha by itself will not be seen without the Prakriti. So both of them, like Shiva and Parvati, Shiva and Shakti, both together makes the show of this world happens. So that experience or the knowledge I am is Purusha, and whatever that I am is aware of is Prakriti. So that I am identify with this Prakriti and then get caught up in the different changes which happen in Prakriti, thinking that they are my changes, I am undergoing the change, I suffer. So all this suffering, ups and downs, everything is part of Prakriti only, but I experience it as though it's happening to me. When the tamasic aspect of Prakriti is predominant, then I totally forget myself completely. I am totally identified with Prakriti. When Rajasic aspect is there, then I develop a lot of desires and all, and desire to act. And when Sattvic aspect is predominant, I start becoming more and more aware of myself. The Purusha start becoming more aware of itself, himself. Now when we are identified with Prakriti, we can to a certain extent manipulate or bring about change in the qualities of this Prakriti. Just as I wear my dress, so though I am different from the dress, but I can make the dress move. Dress by itself cannot move, I make it move. So similarly, when the Purusha identifies with Prakriti, it becomes the doer, it becomes the enjoyer, it becomes the knower. By identifying with the body and the senses, it becomes the doer. Purusha becomes the doer. By identifying with the mind, it becomes the feeler. By identifying with the intellect, it becomes the knower. But when it gives up all identification, it remains as a witness. And when it remains as a witness, totally free from even that witnessing is dropped, then one transcends all the gunas. So here Bhagavan tells about the various functioning of these gunas. When they are predominant, what happens? So when Sattva is predominant, knowledge happens. When Rajogun is predominant, lot of actions and lot of desires arise in the mind. And when Tamogun is predominant, there is sleep, laziness, forgetfulness. And also when a person dies in a particular gunas, that also will determine the future birth. Actually, the death is nothing but delinking from the outermost shell of our covering life. that is the body. So the rest of the material is intact. That is not delinked. Therefore, the beautiful example of dress is given. Just the dress is removed and another dress is. So the jiva or that purusha identified with its fundamental desires and all remains the same. So I and my desires, my impressions, my likes and dislikes, my deep samskar which I am carrying from the past, that Purusha is identified with it. So that identification remains even when the body is dropped. Just as when we go to sleep, our body is dropped temporarily, but it doesn't change our personality when we wake up, because we are identified with that personality or that innermost core, what is the avyakta, that identification remains even in sleep. But we are not conscious of it, it remains. So similarly, even when death happens, the identification with the what they call Karana Sharir or this avyakta or the samskar remains, so that it continues, the journey continues. And sometimes actually it so happens that our samskar is also connected to the samskar of other beings around me. Our life, this world is very complex, in the sense there is only one Purusha, the Supreme Purusha, but that Supreme Purusha alone appears like many of us. And each one of us, when we identify with the body and all, each one has got its own personality, that is our own ego. And this we move together, we interact together, we live together as a social being. So our karmas also keep on getting mixed up. Therefore, it is quite possible. I don't remember, but it is quite possible that a group of jivas can again and again they can come. Therefore, in our we have this even husband and wife, they have this saat janmo ka rishta hai baba. So both of them pray. Sometimes they pray that let this be the seventh one. Or sometimes they pray, let this be the first one. So like that, not only husband-wife, but everyone can be just related, and we come back in various ways. So Bhagavan says when a person dies in Sattva Gun, he goes up. Goes up means those who die in Tamagun also go up. Upar pahunch gaye hum we say na. Up means at a higher plane. Those who are Rajasic in their death are born in beings who are attached to karma. And those are Tamasic, they are born at a lower being. Modha yonishu jayate. Again, Bhagavan says that the result of good action is sattva. When we, in order to invoke this sattva gun, we can perform good action, and that is a very important factor here. So after explaining the whole this whole gunas, Bhagavan also gives us hint how we can invoke and do something about this guna. We can invoke sattva gun. In fact, all our sadhana, spiritual sadhana, maximum is to invoke sattva gun, which is already there. We have to invoke it when we are in rajogun and tamogun also. We can, tamogun it becomes difficult, but when we are in rajogun, we can invoke sattva gun by consciously, by doing actions which are basically sattvic. Though the rajoguni people may not like it, therefore nobody likes their sadhana and all, kab khatam hoga. Japa also we do it, and now and then open our eyes and check kitna baki hai. Chalo thoda sa baki hai. Ram 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 ram. People select very small mantras also so that they can go at full speed like. Whatever it is, when we do puja, japa, satsang. Rajasic person can also decide to do satsang, to go for satsang. So when we go for satsang, when we do puja, japa, or read some spiritual books, or interact with spiritual people who are higher than us, in wisdom, in tranquility, in what you call in their values and all, then that becomes like a satsang for us. So when we through satsang also we can bring about change in our guna proportion. We can bring about a change in the proportion of each one of us. We have certain proportion. Each one of us is a different color. As I said on the first day also, these three gunas are like three colors, basic colors. So if you mix them, these three basic colors, if you mix them, you will get different shades. If you will have those shade, का वो chart भी होता है. So, like for example, two colors might look similar, but they are quite different. You say this is also yellow, this is also yellow, but यहाँ पर थोड़ा सा brightness ज़्यादा है, यहाँ पर थोड़ा सा ये ज़्यादा है. So it even on computer, if you use that program, you can even little bit change, you can bring about change in the color. So each one of us is a different combination of these three gunas. And it fluctuates during the day and it fluctuates during our lifetime. We might be born with a particular proportion and die with a different proportion of these three gunas. And during our lifetime, it keeps on fluctuating. Sometimes we get into that mood of satsang and all and go for camps and this and that. Suddenly that sattva gun rises like anything. Ne? But then after some time going to our work and this and that and mother-in-law is eating and all, then slowly just a joke, just slowly the sattva gun starts coming down. So it's very interesting. So instead of trying to manipulate and do something about our thinking, now this is very important. Instead of worrying about our thinking, our feeling, our activities, we should go to the source of them. They are also propelled by gunas. So try to modify the gunas. The activities will take care of themselves automatically. If I want to, overcome, let us say, anger, and I keep on fighting with that anger, keep on trying to suppress it or drop it or do all sorts of things, I will continue to be in Rajogun only. Instead of that, if I invoke Sattvagun, and when that Sattvagun is invoked, through that Sattvic avastha, when we even look back on that anger and give it a sharp or Sattvic look, it will start getting dissolved. It will start dissolving. Therefore, when we become fine or when our mind calms down and all, we say, oh, I shouldn't have got angry. What happened? When you were angry, you were full 100% anger, incarnate like. But now that Sattva Gun has come, and it doesn't like this Rajogun. So that sharp look of Sattva Gun on the Rajasic temperament or qualities and Tamasic will reduce their strength, because constantly the Sattva Gun staring at them and looking at them will reduce the pressure or the strength of these Rajasic and Tamasic qualities. So this whole sadhana, Bhagavan explains with the help of these three gunas. The same thing he explained with Karma Yoga as Bhakti and in other chapters, but here as a scientist of the higher of this cosmos, Bhagavan is explaining only using these three terms like Sattva Gun, Rajogun, Tamogun, and we can by just manipulating them, invoking them, we can do whatever. So even when sincere seekers should try to bring Sattva Gun And whenever that sattva gun, when we are in sattva gun, when we just come down, we go into rajogun only. So rajogun, sattva gun, and tamogun is also used for rest and for utilizing it in a positive way. So this way, if we do, then it will help us in our sadhana. Now Bhagavan tells us that what is the outcome, again, which he had said before also, but here in a different way. Bhagavan says in the 17th verse, we have seen the 16th now. So 17th verse, Bhagavan says, Sattvat sanjayate jnanam rajaso lobha eva cha प्रमादमोहौ तमसः भवतो ज्ञानमेव च सत्त्वात् संजायते ज्ञानं रजसो लोभ एव च Sattvat sanjayate jnanam. It's very beautiful thing which Bhagavan has said before also. Here he says that when sattva good arises in your heart, knowledge happens. Through sattva gun, knowledge happens. This statement has to be understood even by the educationist and so many other people who are interested in even worldly knowledge. By creating the right environment of our personality, of our heart, and also the surrounding, knowledge will happen. We have the capacity to know a lot. We have the capacity to understand ourselves and the world at a deeper level. There is not only a very basic level of knowing, but we can understand things at a deeper level. For example, if I want to know a flower, scientific way of knowing the flower is analytical, like taking out all separately and trying to understand what it is and all, what are the petals and what are the stem and corolla and all those things. Yeah? And scientists says, and that is also one way of looking. So they will analyze everything, what are the chemical composition of a flower and what are the how it behaves and all those things. But that is an analytical way of understanding flower. And because the scientist has a feeling that flower is an independent entity. The science thinks that flower is an independent entity. So they try to understand flower by analyzing it, breaking down into pieces. That is the scientific method. Break things into various pieces and find what is its source. But the holistic science, the sattvic buddhi tells us that flower is not an independent entity. A flower is incomplete if it is not connected to the plant. If you want to understand a flower, you cannot plug the flower and understand. It has to be understood when it is attached to the plant. Then again, you cannot understand the flower just by it is attached to the plant, but that plant is also growing in a friendly environment in the garden with other plants. Then you cannot understand the flower without the presence of the bees and the butterflies and the little children playing there, and the breeze and the water. So if you keep on looking at it,